Hey YouTube, Bombanny here. So I bought this dip pen and nib set from Hobbycraft recently as I really wanted to have a go at it because it seemed quite fun. And I also bought this little vial of Diamine ink in saddle brown. I also have the colour of oxblood, but I found that it wasn't actually marker proof, which is my intention with these. As I really like coloured line art, I did find it a bit of a challenge to use as I'm not really used to inking so much as I am anymore, because I'm more used to digital art stuff nowadays and I've really wanted to get back into the traditional medium, hence why I've started this YouTube channel to try and really kick myself into action with it. So actually using ink, which is permanent, is actually quite daunting for me now, as I really don't want to make a mistake, but hey, you know, it just happens, we're all human. The piece I have drawn up here is basically inspired by a few images that sophira-lou, who is also another YouTube artist, has done. She was trying out these different colour palette challenges. She's done the pastel challenge, the secondary colour challenge and the primary colour challenge, I think. But in all of her images that she did for these challenges, she had a girl with some species of bird on her, and I thought it was a really, really cool idea. And because I am addicted to birds, if you couldn't tell, I thought I should try it out. So I am currently drawing just a girl with like auburn coloured hair with a phoenix on her, because why not? And I'm really sorry that my head and my hair does appear at the bottom end of the screen. I'm still not quite used to having a camera above me, and I am one of those people who do tend to kind of lean forward a lot when colouring, and sometimes my face is literally next to the art I'm creating, but I really had to think with this not to stick my head right near the paper, but it was quite a challenge, so I'm sorry about that. As you can see in the video, I'm actually starting out with doing the inking. I already did the sketch previously. I posted the little sketch on Twitter, I can't remember how long, it was like a month ago. But I bought a light box and then scanned the sketch into Photoshop, blew it up, printed it off, and then used the light box to trace a little faint sketch onto my mixed media paper. This was just so that I could actually sketch really tinily, but then have the final image in whatever size I really wanted, and making sure that because I am inking in fountain pen ink, that I didn't want a really hard, dark, messy sketch underneath it, because I am quite bad at sketching, let's say. I'm terrible for the chicken scratches and for pressing really hard, so erasing it is really a nightmare. But I hope you guys don't mind that I've just skipped out the sketching part, because it was just so long, like it was not worth it, considering this video is already just under 10 minutes, because this entire process, this entire inking and colouring process took about 5 or 6 hours in total, just because all the gradients, they took so long. But if you do want to see this sketch, I'll put a link down in the description below to my Twitter account, which will have all little extra nitty-gritty bits that I don't put to YouTube. Normally I draw girls with either straight hair or like wavy hair, or to be honest, I'm kind of getting used to drawing humans again, it's been so long, but with hair in general, I don't tend to go for the curly type hair. I just find it quite a challenge, so I pushed myself with this and try something new, and I think it actually turned out pretty well. For the bird, I based it heavily off a harpy eagle, so I used basically the harpy eagle head feathers because I think they're really cool. Their beak is also harpy eagle, and the striped patterning on the wings that I'll do later on. But the tail and the wing itself is more based on a peregrine falcon. I know the tail doesn't look like it, but it's kind of generic in its shape, but its wing, I kind of morphed it with the primary feathers of normal eagles and the shape of a peregrine falcon's wing, but I thought it just looked pretty cool here. And obviously, because it's a phoenix, it had to have the kind of like little plumes that come out of the tail, as most phoenix tend to have for some reason, but they look pretty cool. And I say pretty cool a lot because everything is pretty cool. And obviously with the colouring, I'm using Copic markers because they're just really cool. Oh, there we go again. And they're just really easy to blend, I find, and because they come in so many different colours, there's just so much variety you can do with them. And I recently bought a brand new sketch marker, oh my god, because I've only got 2 now, which one of them, like I said in my previous video, is YR30, is macadamia nut, and the one I've just bought is YR14 in caramel, because I wanted to have her with more gingery hair than it turned out, but because the colours that I do have, I mean I've only got one orange which is apricot and it is way too bright for what I wanted to do, and I've got a lot of browns but not reddish browns, so I did what I could with what I had and bought the caramel on top of it, and I think it turned out pretty well considering, but she turned out more brunette-y, auburn coloured than ginger, well, but you know. And now I'm just colouring the feathers and the wing, and you can see it did take quite a while because I was trying to make it look like, well, not fire, but because it's a phoenix it kind of had to have the fire image in it somewhere. So as you can see, I've lined up all of my Copic markers in order for what colour I'm using, and then just stack them back together again like a little, what's the word? A little assembly line of just Copic markers, and I think the overall effect looks really cool. There I go again, calling everything really cool. And now moving on to the tail, I did the same thing as I did with the primary feathers, but this time because there was quite a more dramatic size difference, I actually struggled with the biggest feather for some reason, in that it didn't look so blended, so I went back over it a couple of times just to make sure that everything blended well, because I think it was just because I was using quite different colours that jumped a lot. If that makes sense, I don't really know. But yeah, it made it blend fine eventually. Also, the paper I'm using is my standard Daler-Rowney Mixed Media paper. Now onto those little plumes, again, same red colours, red, yellow and orange colours, but making them look like little fire blast things. And I didn't really know what to do with the girl's body, to be honest, but I didn't want it to kind of scream like it's actually there, but so I just gave her a grey tank top, just because it's better to use colours that you've already used within your piece, and since the phoenix's beak is already dark grey and grey, I thought just use those colours again just to fill in the space. But yeah, and now just colouring in the background with that icky pea soupy green colour and also a darker version of that. But as you can see, I'm going over each section quite a lot, but this was just so it didn't look so streaky, because the pea soupy green, I can't remember what the colour exactly is, I'll leave it down in all the colours I've used in the description below, but the lighter one is drying out, I think, because it is quite old now. So I had to go over it quite a lot, and then I just used the darker colour for more of a gradient effect, but that one was also drying out because it's also very old. And now here I'm going with the stripe patterns that all harpy eagles have on their wings and tails, which I think actually makes the phoenix look more realistic, because I mean most birds of prey, well, a lot of them really have these little stripy markings on them. I don't really know why, but they just do. I mean, a lot of birds have different patterns. And now I'm just adding the white highlights to the eyes and the hair with my Sakura white jelly roll. And I'm using a white Posca pen with I think it's a fine nib, just to do the white outlines, just to make the image pop a bit more. Then I just cut it out and we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.